A town is under attack from a monster invasion and people are desperately crying for help. A girl is being chased by a vicious-looking demon. The demon comes to a stop for a second and then he slowly opens up his beak. The demon starts gathering energy for a powerful attack. The demon uses Ray of Malice, which sends 4 powerful rays in different directions. 3 rays are destroying houses one after another, but the 4th one gets bounced off after a player blocks it with his shield. An archer uses an arrow technique which destroys the 2nd Ray of Malice. The 3rd Ray of Malice gets eaten up by a fire serpent summoned by a wizard. The last Ray of Malice gets cut into pieces by a player. After that, we are introduced to the players. The first player is called Pierce, and he is a level 31 Shadow Assassin. The second player is called Elife, and she is a level 33 Spirit Archer. Third player is called Edmund, who is a level 45 Flame Magician. The fourth and last player is called Adrian, and he is a level 38 Holy Knight. The demon becomes enraged, and he shoots a red beam missile towards the players, but it gets destroyed in an instant after coming in contact with the Dragon Cry skill. The Dragon Cry skill was used by another player who arrives there while riding a dragon. This player is called Eugene Gate, and he is a level 62 Dragon Knight. All of the players charge at the demon in unison. The human survivors are quite happy and they are cheering for the players, but after some time, their expression changes into sadness and they become afraid. The demon had changed his form and wiped the floor with the heroes. This demon was originally a demon king, and he was hiding his power all this time. The last remaining hero begs for forgiveness, but the demon king finishes him off. The last remaining humans run for their lives. The demon king makes a huge roar and the ground under him starts shaking. In the distance, the demon king sees 2 mysterious figures glaring at him from a burning building's rooftop. This mysterious figure was a mushroom hero, and he tells the demon king to stop or he will crack the butt of the demon lord. After that, we move into past in the human world. There are action figures of the demon queen and the Hulk in the room. A kid is playing a game on his computer and he just defeated a boss. His online friends praise him for his victory and he signs out of the game. But after logging out of the game, there is complete silence. This kid's name is Wazi and he is feeling quite sad after coming back to reality. He is quite good in the game, but in the real world, he's just an average weak and poor college student. He always wanted to be the center of attention, but he's too average for it. After some time, he receives a message from one of his newbie mage clan member. The newbie mage asks him for a meetup on Saturday and Wazi becomes a little bit happy, but he knows that this newbie mage can turn out to be an old pervert grandpa. Wazi has been single all his life, so he can't be a coward all of his life. Wazi agrees to meet her and his hands are trembling while he is writing the message. The next morning, Wazi is fully prepared to meet this female mage player. Wazi is fully determined to turn his life around and get out of his shell. Wazi starts crossing the street while he is thinking about his future. Some people across the street try to tell him to stop, but Wazi is busy in his daydreaming. Wazi is about to be crushed by a truck-kun, but he is still deep within thoughts. Truck-kun crashes into Wazi and he flies off into the distance. People gather around him to save his life, but Wazi can feel his life slowly fading away. After waking up, Wazi sees a loading screen which welcomes him. The system message tells him that he got screwed over by Truck-kun in his last life, and now he has been reincarnated into a new world. He will be teleported into his real world if he completes all the missions assigned by the system. The system tells him that there is a pond in front of him and he should go there to take a look at his new appearance. Wazi can't feel his legs or hands, so he slowly bounces to a nearby pond. There are a lot of snails around him. Poor Wazi becomes really shocked after seeing his reflection in the pond, as he has been turned into a mushroom monster. Wazi can only make small jumps as a mushroom. The voice of snails chewing on the grass is making him more anxious. A message pops up which welcomes him to the brave mainland. The system message informs him that it is quite difficult to accept what has happened just now, but the game has already begun and they don't have enough time to explore slowly. So the system will transfer all the information directly into his mind. The systems start overloading Wazi with information about this world. It is a world filled with magic and wonders. Every region of the world is different, and this world is called the Brave Mainland. Long ago, monsters and humans lived in harmony. The muscular monsters assisted the humans in all sorts of tasks, and the humans who had high affinity for magic would help the monsters survive and prosper. Until one day, the demon lord Gollum broke this peace. Gollum was the highest ranked demon and he was followed by other monsters. Gollum hated the humans who think of themselves as superior beings. Gollum gathered all the monsters and he marched into the human cities. To defend against the monsters, humans also gathered their strength and a lot of human guilds were formed which hunted the monsters under the order of the king. Finally, 6 strongest braves gathered together to seal the demon lord Gollum. Gollum was quite powerful, so the braves divided its body into 6 pieces and they hid them in 6 different locations. Even after the demon lord Gollum was sealed, the humans and monsters could no longer live together in peace. Furthermore, despite demon lord Gollum being sealed, his loyal followers continued to roam the lands and wreak havoc across the continent. They continuously kept looking for ways to unseal and revive the demon lord. The entire brave mainland will be destroyed if the demon lord revives. That's why Wazi has been reincarnated into this world, so he can stop the demon lord. Lastly, the followers of Gollum have already begun their plans to unseal the demon lord, so Wazi has not much free time left. Wazi asks the system if he can go back after defeating the demon lord, and the system replies with a yes. Wazi becomes angry and he starts abusing the system for making him into a mushroom instead of a human. Wazi slips and falls down to the ground. The system tells him to not get angry and get used to his body quickly because his first mission is about to begin. Wazi starts asking the system to turn him into a skeleton or a goblin so he can at least walk freely. Wazi drops down and he starts crying, but the savage system informs him that the game will still go on even if he is ready or not. The mission window pops up which informs him that he needs to survive for a designated amount of time and he will receive hardened or limbs as a reward for completing this quest. A 5-second timer starts and the snails start hiding into bushes or trees. After the timer ends, a system message pops up which informs him that he must survive for 1 hour because something is arriving there. A stone portal starts shining near him and he is curious to know what will pop out of it. After a while, a lot of annoying little kids start rushing out of the portal. Wazi gets goosebumps as he knows these little overly enthusiastic kids are not up to something good. Wazi bounces back into hiding. He knows that these kids must be here to hunt low-level monsters. These kids are quite brutal. One of them strikes a snail into oblivion with his twig. Another kid smashes a poor snail who was hiding in his shell with a rock. One snail tries to run away at his maximum speed, but he gets caught by an innocent-looking girl. The poor snail thinks this girl will never kill a cute thing like a snail. But the girl tears the snail into 2 with her bare hands. This girl is collecting snail shells for her class change quest. The kids are mostly enjoying their hunt, but suddenly a kid gets smashed into a rock. His health drops to 0 and he gets teleported back to the beginner village. The kid also loses some of his experience points as a penalty for dying. The kid was beaten by a level 3 snail daddy who is riding a skateboard, and he is crying because humans are mercilessly killing his sweet little snail kids. All kids rush at Snail Daddy because his shell is one of the rarest ingredients for a class change. After a little skirmish, most of the kids gets obliterated. Snail Daddy also lost his skateboard in the last skirmish, and a kid comes from his back. Snail Daddy is angry to his full limit and he is crying too. A level 4 classless kid starts rushing towards Snail Daddy with his sword. Snail Daddy also starts rushing toward him. Snail Daddy fiercely bites the foot of the player, but he gets kicked away, and the player kid has taken no damage because he was wearing boar skin boots, which boost the player defense by a lot. Snail Daddy received a lot of damage, but for the sake of his family, he refuses to back down even when faced with such a big disadvantage. Wazi starts cheering for Snail Daddy to motivate him, but the Snail Daddy gets defeated in an instant. Kid player takes out the meat and shell of the Snail Daddy. Kid player runs back quite happily because now he can change his class to a knight. Poor Wazi is still in shock because there is no one left to save him from these monstrous kids. Some kids heard Wazi's voice when he was cheering for the Snail Daddy, and they easily managed to find him hiding in bushes beside a tree. Both the kids and Wazi become afraid after watching each other. Wazi is afraid that he's going to die at the hands of these brutes, but all of a sudden, both kids start running away from him. The system message tells him to check his attribute panel. He is on level 5 and he also has a single revive coin. He thinks maybe the kids ran away because they know his level is higher than them. Furthermore, Wazi has 2 abilities, Appraisal and Mushroom Bash. Appraisal allows him to see the level and basic information of the target. Mushroom Bash is an attack skill and doesn't even require any magic points to use. He can easily dominate this beginner stage with his skills and stats. Wazi is feeling quite confident and he starts searching for his prey. Soon he witnesses some kids trying to break the shell of a snail. Wazi leaps forward with his Mushroom Bash skill and he easily manages to get rid of the 2 kids in one go. He gets 10 experience points in total for defeating 2 players. Another Viking kid notices 2 kids who just got defeated. Wazi turns over to him and he is giving an evil smile to the kid. The Viking kid becomes really afraid because mushroom monsters are not supposed to be in that region. The kid quickly grabs a vine and climbs up. Wazi goes away unhappily because he cannot climb up without limbs. All of a sudden, he gets hit by a stone and he loses 2 HP. He turns around and there's a group of 4 low-level players waiting for him, and Viking Kid is also with them. Wazi is still confident as he is about to show these arrogant kids a lesson they will never forget. He plunges toward the group of kids with his Mushroom Bash skill. Wazi bashes into one of the shields of a kid and he gets pushed back pretty hard. Viking Kid throws another rock which successfully hits Wazi, dealing 4 damage to him. Wazi is quite pissed after getting hit, but the other kids start throwing rocks at him as well. They are kiting away his health points with their attacks and their movements are faster than Wazi, so he cannot get rid of them in one go. Finally, his cooldown is over and he uses Mushroom Bash skill on the kids for the second time, but the kid with the shield blocks him for the second time. One of the kids slashes Wazi with his sword and Wazi receives a little cut from the slash attack and he is in pain. The kids are working in synergy and they remind him of the gaming experience of his previous life. All of the kids gang up on Wazi and they start smacking him left and right. Finally, Wazi bites the dust after losing a ton of health points. The kids become happy because they managed to defeat a high-level monster. But soon, one of the kids realizes that she didn't got any experience after killing a mushroom. But it is too late because Wazi was pretending to be dead, so they can drop their guard. Wazi easily bashes the 4 kids with his skill and his level also rises up in the process. He is now on level 6 and his stats have also risen up by a little bit. Wazi is feeling quite confident. He will now hide and hunt low-level players in this starting stage to increase his level. All of a sudden, a lightning bolt strikes right next to him. He is quite confused about this lightning because the sky is clear and there are no clouds above him. 3 players come out and they came here after the villagers reported that a high-level monster is causing trouble in the beginner village outskirts. One of them is a level 18 mage, second one is a level 17 archer, third one is a level 12 newbie warrior. Wazi knows he messed up big time because the level gap between him and the players is too much. Level 18 mage throws a minor magic bullet towards Wazi. Wazi barely manages to dodge it by ducking down. Wazi still got a little bit hurt by it and he lost 14 health points in the process. Wazi got lucky because the trees behind him which got directly hit by the mini magic bullet got big holes in them. Wazi uses Mushroom Bash to run away from them and the mage think it is quite rare for a monster to run away from a fight. The level 12 warrior gets ready to use one of his skills to catch Wazi. The warrior uses Earth Cleaver on the ground and it starts moving toward Wazi. And suddenly a huge rock wall appears in front of Wazi. Poor Wazi gets blocked by the wall and he receives 10 damage due to the impact. Wazi health drops below 50% and he drops down. The archer gets ready to finish Wazi with her bow. She releases the arrow and it pierces through Wazi, leaving him with 0 HP. A game over message pops up in front of him. The mage orders other players to retrieve the dead body of the mushroom monster so they can receive the reward from the village. The system message pops up near Wazi, and it asks him if he wants to use his one and only revival coin. Wazi agrees to use the coin and his body starts shining brightly. After revival, he learned a new skill called Spore Explosion. After a moment, he returns back to full health. Wazi uses Spore Explosion and the whole area gets engulfed in spores. Wazi tries to bash out of the area, but the female archer spots him and she informs the others about it. Wazi starts running away at full speed and the players start chasing him. Wazi asks the system about how much time is left until the mission is over. There are only 3 minutes left until the mission is over and he will receive a reward which will greatly increase his surviving chances in this world. Wazi barely manages to dodge another lightning strike attack from the mage. Wazi is quite confused as how they managed to find him so soon. He looks up and there is an arrow sign above him. This is one of the skills of the archer, and she can track her prey with it. The warrior catches up to Wazi and he performs a slash attack on him. Wazi dodges the attack by leaping backward. After losing balance, Wazi gets slammed into a tree. 2 more wind blades move toward him at full speed. The wind blades successfully hit the tree and there is some blood coming out of it. It turns out Wazi got hit by the blades and he has lost 18 health points in the process. But Wazi is still determined to make it out of this situation. Wazi uses his spore explosion for the second time, but the archer can still shoot Wazi with her prey tracking skill. She shoots her arrow and it pierces Wazi for the second time, dealing 28 damage to him. Wazi is now in critical state and he has been hit by a lot of penalties, rendering him motionless, but he is still alive. The mage prepares another magic missile, but the mission is completed. Suddenly, a big teleportation circle appears above them. The mage tells his companions to run away as fast as they can. A lot of mushrooms start falling out of the portal. The warrior is a bit cocky and he starts chopping the mushrooms instead of running away. He uses his tomahawk skill to kill as many mushrooms as he can to get more experience points. He receives a ton of experience points for the massacre he just performed. The mage and archer warn him to retreat or it will get dangerous. The warrior is still cocky and he thinks the mage wants them to retreat because he is jealous of the warrior getting stronger. The archer asks the mage to ignore the warrior, and there is a protective enchantment in this beginner stage so he will not die in real life. The archer and the mage start running away in unison. All of a sudden, a big shining figure starts appearing out of the teleportation circle. This figure is a level 60 mushroom king, and he can command all types of mushrooms. He is searching for a long-lost mushroom secret. The warrior throws away his weapon in fear. He still gets crushed to death by the Mushroom King. The mage tells the archer that the warrior was quite foolish and he just lost his experience points of many days. The Mushroom King looks quite happy and satisfied. The Mushroom King points his sword in a direction and all mushrooms start heading toward it. Wazi was watching all of it and now his consciousness is fading away slowly. He sees a little pig beside him and then he goes to sleep. After some time, Wazi wakes up in a cave, and there are a lot of worn and torn mushrooms around him. A pig is chomping on something in the distance, and Wazi thinks maybe the pig killed and ate them all. The pig suddenly turns around and her eyes are glowing red. Wazi looks away immediately, and his teeth start clattering in fear. Wazi tries to run away while the pig is distracted, but he realizes that his lower body is gone, and maybe the pig ate it away. The pig starts approaching him and he plays dead because there's nothing else he can do in this situation. The pig reaches over to him and she throws the parts of another mushroom she just chomped on Wazi, and his body starts healing. The pig rubs the cheeks of Wazi and she's looking quite satisfied as her eyes are brimming with hope. She goes to sleep right next to Wazi. After some time, the pig wakes up, but Wazi is nowhere to be seen. The pig starts following the scent of Wazi, but she suddenly remembers something important and she goes back. She puts the fire out for some reason. Wazi is running out of the cave using his small jumps. Soon the pig almost catches up to him. Wazi knows that no matter how much he tries to get away, he will be eventually caught by the pig. Once the pig gets close, Wazi uses spore explosion. But the pig becomes happy after watching the spore explosion. She uses a skill called Piggy Vacuum to inhale all of the spores. She starts feeling better after inhaling the spores for some reason. The piggy starts chasing Wazi again. Wazi asks the system about the reward from his last mission. The system informs him that he can redeem the reward now if he wants to. He can choose between Harden or Limbs as his reward. He thinks that Harden is quite useless in this situation and he can use the limbs to fight against the pig. Wazi chooses Limbs and he starts levitating into air. Finally, his transformation is completed and he has now got both arms and legs. Wazi starts running away at full speed using his legs, but he realizes that his movement is still very slow and he is not making any progress. Wazi starts cursing the system and the pig is getting closer to him. Finally, the pig catches up to him and she is feeling very happy. Pig starts licking him and Wazi asks her to finish him quickly as he has lost all hope. Wazi activates his appraisal ability on the pig. It's a level 10 ribbon pig and it used to live near Crescent Bay and it has a powerful sense of smell. These pigs taste very delicious and they were hunted to extinction for their food. Wazi opens up his attribute panel and his stats look much weaker than the pig. The pig smells something suspicious near the entrance of the cave. It starts running around in circles. Soon the cave starts crumbling and it looks like an earthquake is going on. It's not an actual earthquake, but some mysterious beings are attacking the cave. Wazi starts running toward the entrance and the piggy is even faster than him. Wazi screams to the piggy and asks her to help him. The piggy hears his cry for help and she starts running back to help him. The piggy finally makes it up to him and Wazi mounts it. The piggy starts running out of the crumbling cave at full speed. She finally jumps out of the cave and the entrance behind her gets blocked with big boulders. Some black boars appears above the collapsed cave. Wazi asks the ribbon pig if they are her friends. Wazi looks at their stats and they are all on level 18. All boars get on side as their leader comes up. Their leader is a high-ranked boar and there are flames coming out of his head, and he gives a stare to the ribbon pig. The ribbon pig also gives him a cold stare back. Wazi looks at his stats and he is a level 35 wild boar chieftain, and his stats can't be checked right now because his level is too high. The ribbon pig turns around and she starts moving away. One of the wild boars angrily tries to chase her, but the wild boar chieftain stops him from chasing her. Ribbon pig is moving away through grass fields and Wazi is wondering that these pigs are too dramatic for this world. Both Piggy and Wazi are moving through a grass field. Wazi asks the system about his current location and the system informs him that they are currently at Crescent Bay, which is in east of the Tempest Grasslands, and they are 200 kilometers away from the starter village. Wazi wonders that the ribbon pig must have brought him here after he fainted. All of a sudden, a long tongue attacks them, but Piggy dodges it by jumping back. The tongue keeps attacking them and Piggy keeps dodging it. A big frog pops out of the grass. Wazi uses his appraisal skill on the frog, and he is a level 11 bull toad. Bull toads are common in moist and warm areas. It also requires as much food as its weight every day. The bull toad and the piggy give each other a cold stare for a few seconds. The bull toad uses his long tongue to attack them again. The piggy manages to dodge it, but Wazi gets caught up by the tongue. The piggy angrily rushes toward the bull toad. The bull toad starts quickly retracting his tongue so he can gulp up Wazi in one go. But the piggy is faster than the toad, and she crashes into him with her skill, Barbarous Charge. Bull toad frees Wazi and he is about to fall down, but the piggy catches him in time. Wazi is quite happy and he thanks the piggy for her help. But soon they see an airwave coming toward them and it's cutting the grass on its way. The piggy dodges it by jumping up in time. They witness something up in the air which shocks them. The bull toad has been cut into pieces. He was killed by a big mantis and the mantis starts munching on the bull toad. Wazi uses appraisal skill on it and he comes to know that this is a level 19 blade mantis. These blade mantis are famous for practicing the art of drawing blades every day. It even went as far as sacrificing one of its arms and turning it into a scabbard. Soon the mantis discovers their presence around him and he pulls out his blade out of the scabbard. Blade mantis starts advancing toward them. Wazi informs Piggy to be careful because they will be dead if they even get hit once. Suddenly, something big jumps up above the blade mantis. It jumps down on the blade mantis in an instant. It turns out to be a solid rock-like mushroom and it starts absorbing the body of the blade mantis. All of a sudden, it opens up his eyes and he gives a loud scream. He is a level 26 boulder mushroom and they are one of the common evolution types for mushroom monsters. Its defense is quite high, but its movement is very slow due to its heavy weight. Wazi tells the piggy to slowly leave its line of sight while ducking down. They both quietly manage to retreat into grass and the boulder mushroom turns into a normal state to wait for its next prey. Finally, they stop near a tree to rest and the view in front of them is quite captivating. Wazi is quite pleased after watching this view. He needs to get stronger as fast as possible, so Wazi asks the system to give him a new mission. Wazi can choose between easy, medium, or hard difficulty missions. Wazi knows that fortune favors the bold, so he chose the hard mission. He needs to defeat one of the 4 heavenly generals under the Tempest Grassland King. Wazi is a bit scared by this mission, so he asks for an easy one. In the easy mission, Wazi needs to gather 10 red berry herbs, and he will receive 50 experience points for completing this mission. This mission is very easy, so Wazi asks the piggy to get ready and find it. After some searching in the grass, Wazi manages to find 6 red berry herbs. All of a sudden, Piggy grabs some red berry herbs out of Wazi's hand, and she starts eating them. Wazi gets angry and he starts abusing Piggy for her insubordination. He also gathers up all of his power to punch Piggy, but his punch has no effect on her. and he easily gets pushed back. After eating the flowers, Piggy gets ready to charge at Wazi, and Wazi says he is sorry, and he tries to stop her. But Piggy uses her barbarous charge skill on Wazi, which blasts him away into the air. After a time skip, Wazi uses Mushroom Bash on a tree to complete another quest of collecting 70 fruits, and he receives an item box as a reward. He uses Spore Explosion in a lake to gather fishes for his third mission. Wazi completes his fourth mission of collecting ores with the help of Piggy. At the end of the day, Wazi completed a lot of missions, and he is now on level 9. Wazi is quite exhausted because he did all the hard work, and Piggy ate away most of the things they collected. While Piggy is sleeping, he gets another mission to collect and absorb the nutrients of 30 fruits, 15 fishes, and 20 ores. He will receive an exclusive ability for completing this quest. This is quite easy because Wazi already collected a lot of quest items in his item box. He summons the items from his item box, but Piggy instantly wakes up after smelling food. Wazi tells her to stop because she already ate too much, and these fruits are for his quest. Wazi tries to eat the apple while Piggy sits back, and there is sadness in her eyes. Wazi feels bad for her and he tosses an apple in her direction. They both happily start munching on their food. One of Wazi's teeth breaks down while he tries to eat a rock. Wazi asks the system how he is supposed to eat this rock. Something is missing because Wazi already ate 5 apples, but they are not showing up in his completion tab. The system gives him a hint that he needs to absorb all the collected items. Wazi remembers when the mushroom boulder killed the blade mantis and absorbed him by standing on him. Wazi is a bit sad, but he has no other choice but to use his lower body to absorb stuff. During nighttime, there is a lot of trash scattered around, and Wazi is absorbing the food for his quest. After completing the quest, Wazi feels quite satisfied and he poses as a character from Fist of the North Star. Wazi lights up as his level increases, and he also got a new exclusive ability. He is now on level 10 and his new ability is called Decompose. He can decompose anything from nature and use it to nourish himself. He can decompose all monsters ranging from level 1 to 20. Wazi did a lot of hard work today, so he decides to rest up for the day. While they are sleeping, a shooting star falls down in the distance. The next day, Wazi receives another mission to kill 10 monsters from the Crescent Bay area. The low-level missions are getting harder, but Wazi and the Piggy are both on level 10, so they can find some low-level monsters to hunt. After some time, they spot a weird-looking slime monster. This monster is a level 8 green slime. Its entire body is made up of gel-like substance. After being killed, it becomes an ordinary gel puddle, which can be used to make medicine. Both parties do a standoff as they get ready for the fight. Wazi uses Mushroom Bash on the green slime and it gets pushed back pretty hard. Wazi is about to finish off the green slime, but Piggy jumps up ahead before he can do anything. Piggy uses Barbarous Charge on the green slime to finish it off. Piggy proudly poses after killing the green slime. Wazi breaks down with shock after witnessing how stupid the Piggy is. After a whole day of hard work, Wazi only managed to kill 4 green slimes. There were other powerful monsters too, but they both ran away from them. They are both searching for monsters, but a branch starts rushing toward them. Piggy jumps back to dodge the attack of the branch. The branch belonged to a tree-like monster. This tree is a level 18 possessed stump monster. It lives in humid and dark places, and it disguises itself as a normal tree stump to lure an unsuspecting prey. This possessed stump is moist, which makes it resistant to burning. The possessed stump performs another powerful branch attack. Wazi and the Piggy dodge it by jumping in 2 different directions. They need to be careful because each attack of the possessed stump carries a lot of weight. Both Piggy and Wazi start rushing in a zigzag formation. Both of them perform their best techniques on the stump, but they get pushed back from the impact. Wazi lost 30 health points while Piggy became dazed after she received the recoil of their last attack. Possessed Stump is still standing unfazed in its place. The odds of them winning are looking grim, but Wazi comes up with a new plan. The Possessed Stump does another branch attack on Wazi and the Piggy, but it gets interrupted by Wazi's Spore Explosion skill. The Possessed Stump keeps looking for them, but they are nowhere to be seen. Finally, the Possessed Stump loses its interest and it goes back to its passive state. The Piggy just got back up and Wazi is happy that they got away safely. Piggy starts moving away so they can find something weaker to kill. But Wazi has something up his sleeve, and he tells her to wait a bit more. After some time, small mushrooms start growing on the Possessed Stump body, and they slowly start leeching away its health. Possessed Stump has now become weaker, so Wazi and the Piggy both go for another bash attack. After some time, they easily manage to defeat the possessed stump, and they both receive a lot of experience points. Both of them leveled up as well, and they are now on level 11. Piggy starts moving toward their next target, but Wazi stops her as he is still not done yet with the possessed stump. Wazi sits on top of the dead possessed stump and he starts absorbing it with all of his might. Wazi finally decomposed the possessed stump and he lost 50 magic points in the process. He obtained a lot of experience points and some of the abilities of the possessed stump for a certain period of time. The system informs him that he can receive 2 of the abilities of a monster he decomposes. These abilities are temporarily, and they will be removed after a single use. Some abilities have a certain duration and they will only last 10 minutes. He received 2 abilities from the possessed stump called Camouflage and Bark Skin. During nighttime, Piggy and Wazi are resting in a cave. They hunted monsters the whole day and Wazi is on level 15, and his Mushroom Bash skill level has increased up to 3. Meanwhile, Ribbon leveled up to 14 and her stats have risen up as well. Wazi asks the system when he can change his class. The system informs him that monsters cannot undergo class change. Instead, they get stronger through evolution. Every monster has its own unique evolution pathways, but they can also have special mutations depending on their environment and other hidden conditions. Wazi will receive his first mutation at level 20, and he will receive his second mutation at level 40. Wazi is almost at level 20 and he asks the system for the strongest evolutionary pathway for a mushroom because he doesn't want to evolve into a dumb-looking boulder mushroom. The system informs Wazi that he can only provide him with an evolutionary pathway if he can give him 200 gold coins. Wazi is not satisfied with the system, so the system shows him a pathway for free. After level 20, Wazi can evolve into a boulder mushroom if he absorbs 100 iron ore and 100 bronze ore. After reaching level 60, he can further evolve into a diamond mushroom by absorbing 999 diamonds, 1 sunglasses, and 1,000,000 gold coins. Wazi thinks that diamond mushroom is cool, but he cannot bear to become a boulder mushroom. The system tells him if he knows about the evolutionary pathway, he can gather all of the required resources in advance, and the system urges him to give 200 gold coins for the information on other evolution paths. Wazi tells the system that he knows Wazi has no gold coins. The system tells him that he will make an exception and accept materials in exchange for coins. Wazi tells him there is no need for that because he already made up his mind, and he wants to evolve into Mushroom King. The next day, both Wazi and Piggy are facing another Blade Mantis. They are facing the Blade Mantis because it's part of their new mission, and Wazi will get additional 500 experience points for hunting him. Wazi uses Bark Skin to harden his head. Then he leaps toward the Blade Mantis with his Mushroom Bash skill, and the Blade Mantis uses his blade to draw skill to counter him. Wazi lands safely and he tells the Blade Mantis that his attacks no longer work on him. But when the Blade Mantis slowly sheathes his sword, a big cut appears on the head of Wazi. He loses 75 health points and he starts saying that he is going to die. Wazi gets close to the Piggy and tells her his new secret plan. The Piggy starts heading toward another direction. The Blade Mantis does another standoff with the Piggy. All of a sudden, both the Piggy and Blade Mantis start dashing toward each other. The Blade Mantis uses Quick Draw Triple Slash skill. Piggy manages to dodge all of his attacks and she bashes into the Blade Mantis. The Blade Mantis blocks her attack with his sheath and he gets pushed back. Wazi is right behind him, camouflaging as a tree stump. Wazi knows that Blade Mantis have very low awareness of their surroundings and they can only focus all of their attention on a single target. Wazi leaps toward the Blade Mantis with his Mushroom Bash skill and he manages to break the fragile neck of the Blade Mantis with a single bash. The head of the Blade Mantis falls off in the distance. Piggy receives 300 experience points while Wazi receives 340 points, and both of them level up together. The Mushroom Bash skill of Wazi has leveled up to 4. Wazi asks the system to give him another mission. He receives his second medium difficulty mission in which he needs to go to the Mushroom Kingdom. He will receive 600 experience points as a reward, but the Mushroom Kingdom is quite far. Wazi asks the system how far is the Mushroom Kingdom. The system informs him that it is not that much far away and he only needs to travel 400 kilometers. Wazi tells the system to stop toying with him because 400 kilometers is a lot of distance. The system informs him that he doesn't need to walk the entire way, and he will tell Wazi other ways to get there for a low price of 200 gold coins. Wazi has no gold, so he requests the Piggy to take him to the Mushroom Kingdom. The Piggy responds quite proudly to Wazi's request. After 20 kilometers, they reach a place with a lot of trees bound to rocks. They are both already tired and they start resting under a tree with eggs on top of it. Wazi has already consumed most of his stamina points, and now he has only 33 stamina points left. System mocks him by saying that at this rate, Wazi will consume all of his stamina points after barely traveling 18 more kilometers. Even Piggy has only 12 stamina points remaining. Wazi asks the system if he can cancel the mission, and the system informs him that he cannot cancel a mission after starting it, and he advises Wazi to think of a different way. All of a sudden, something crashes near them. Both Wazi and Piggy become alerted after hearing the loud noise. Two human players merge out of the smoke. One of them is a level 28 mage. Wazi already fought against him at the beginner village, and at that time, the mage was on level 18. Wazi starts sweating with fear as he only leveled up to 16 while the mage jumped from level 18 to 28 in such a short span of time. The red bald mage next to him is on level 36. Both of them start heading toward the tree where Wazi and Piggy were resting at. Wazi is afraid, so Piggy gets in front of him to protect him. The mage kicks Piggy with all of his strength, which sends her flying off into distance. Her condition is not looking well, but Wazi is quite shocked after watching both mages get past him without noticing him. The blue mage tells the other bald mage that he has no idea why there are such low-ranking monsters out here in this place. The bald mage finds the red dot eggs he was searching for a long time, and he is quite happy about it. Bald mage picks up the egg and he is talking to the other mage about the egg, but Wazi misunderstands it and he thinks they are talking about him. Wazi starts trembling with fear and he uses Spore Explosion in haste. Bald Mage is wondering how can a low-ranking mushroom know of Spore Explosion skill, but the Blue Mage informs him that he has seen something similar in the beginner village and they should not waste their time and get out of this dangerous place. Meanwhile, Piggy was woken up again and she charges at the Bald Mage with Barbarous Rush skill. Bald Mage uses a skill to vanish into air and Piggy crashes into a rock tree. After the crash, she falls on the red eggs and the rock tree starts cracking for some reason. Wazi made it out after the Spore Explosion, but he had to come back due to the stupid Piggy who attacked the Bald Mage for the second time. All of a sudden, the rock tree starts spinning in a circle. Both Bald and Blue Mage get back to avoid the impact, but Wazi is about to be hit by the rock tree. Wazi uses Mushroom Bash upwards and gets on top of the tree with Piggy. The rock tree keeps spinning around and it eventually hits other rock trees which also start spinning in unison. Bald Mage is barely evading the spinning attacks from the rock tree, and the Blue Mage is in the same boat as well. A rock tree hits a sheep-like monster and it dies in an instant. After some time, the tree stops spinning and it starts sucking the nutrients of the sheep monster it just killed. Both mages made it out alive, but they are about to burst with anger. The Bald Mage got more bumps in his bald head, and the Blue Mage got some of his teeth broken and a bunch of bruises here and there. They both start preparing skills to attack Wazi and the Piggy, but they stop after seeing a flying bird moving toward them in full speed. The bird clashes into them and it results in a big boom. Both mages block the flying attack with Frost Wall skill. The bird is quite pissed at both of them for some reason. Wazi uses Appraise on the bird and it turns out to be a level 47 Firestorm Hawk. His other stats cannot be seen by Wazi because his level is too low. The Blue Mage tells the Bald Mage that he used up most of his mana to avoid the rock tree attacks and now he needs Bald Mage to cover him so he can drink a mana potion. The Red Mage informs him that he's in the same boat and his mana is also running dry. Blue Mage requests the Bald Mage to use the bottle of high-grade potion they brought from the Mage Alliance to attack the Firestorm Hawk. He is trying to say something important, but he gets killed by the Firestorm Hawk. The Firestorm Hawk gulps the body of the Blue Mage, and he turns back to give an evil stare to the Bald Mage. The Bald Mage brings out 3 potions from his inventory. He immediately gulps up the blue potion which restores his mana. Firestorm Hawk leaps toward the Bald Mage to perform another attack, but Bald Mage threatens to kill her child and she comes to a stop in the air. Even though Firestorm Hawk stopped mid-air without performing her full attack, but the clothes of the Bald Mage still got ripped from the shockwave. The Bald Mage performs a Thunderbolt attack on the Firestorm Hawk and it directly hits the Firestorm Hawk, making her motionless. Firestorm Hawk drops down to the ground and she is paralyzed as well. The Bald Mage tells her that he is soon turning 50 and he still hasn't gotten through his second class change because the requirements for his class are too high. The Bald Mage starts hitting her physically to vent his anger. After some time, the Bald Mage brings out a synthetic poison bottle from his inventory. He spreads the poison on several ice spears, then he stabs the Firestorm Hawk with poisoned ice spears. The Firestorm Hawk is still not dead yet, so the Bald Mage starts preparing another powerful attack. Wazi attacks him from behind with Mushroom Bash, rendering him motionless for a while. The egg of the Firestorm Hawk is about to hit the ground and break, but Wazi cushions its fall with his body. Wazi informs the Firestorm Hawk that her child is now in safe hands. Firestorm Hawk gets up and she throws the Bald Mage away with all of her remaining strength. The Bald Mage still has a trick and he is preparing to teleport back with a recall scroll, but before he can use the recall scroll, a fire pillar magic circle appears below him. The Bald Mage gets burned to a crisp after the activation of the magic. Firestorm Hawk levels up to 48 after killing the Bald Mage. Firestorm Hawk gives out a loud scream and her wounds start getting healed. The Firestorm Hawk approaches Wazi, who was holding her egg. All of a sudden, the eggshell starts cracking and a small Firestorm baby appears out of it. The small hawk chick starts chirping and hugging Wazi, and Wazi thinks that the chick is too hot. Some tears drop out of Firestorm Hawk's eyes as she calls for her dear child, but the little chick gets annoyed and he kicks the Firestorm Hawk, which surprises Wazi. Wazi tells the little chick that he should not have done that to his mother. At the same time, Piggy arrives there with 2 more hatched chicks. The Firestorm Hawk calls them with motherly love as her eyes start dripping, but both of them kick her as well. All 3 chicks start playing with Wazi and Piggy. The Firestorm Hawk is crying on the sidelines. Wazi looks at her and he gets an idea. He tells the Piggy and the chicks to follow him. All of them stop near the Firestorm Hawk and she is giving a menacing look to Wazi. The little chicks attacks her again with his beak and the Firestorm Hawk steps back. The chicks tell her to stop attacking Wazi and they are giving off a cute type of menacing look. Wazi gets in front of them and he tells them he is not their real mother. He starts using sign language to make them understand what really happened there. At the end, he informs them that this Firestorm Hawk is their real mother and she put her life on the line to protect them. The chicks understand it and they get closer to their mother to hug her. Wazi informs Piggy that they helped the Firestorm Hawk and now she will help them in return to get to the Mushroom Kingdom. But on the contrary, the Firestorm Hawk gives them a menacing look as she turns around and starts leaving with her chicks. Wazi is watching them as they are leaving without even a thanks, but suddenly the Firestorm Hawk turns around and he tells Wazi that a low-ranking monster like him should never order around a hawk like him. Wazi gets surprised to know that the Firestorm Hawk can talk and it's a male in the first place. Wazi starts sweating as the Firestorm Hawk starts heading toward him. The Firestorm Hawk asks Wazi what qualifications does he have to demand something from him. But all of a sudden, the hawk starts coughing blood and he drops down to the ground. His chicks are quite worried about him. She sees Wazi and Piggy giving off an evil smile as their vision fades away. During nighttime, Firestorm Hawk wakes up from his slumber. His kids are sleeping in the center and they are emitting a lot of fire like a fireplace. Firestorm Hawk feels relieved after watching his kids safe and sound. Piggy is also sleeping happily right next to them and Firestorm Hawk becomes a bit enraged after watching her. Hawk tries to get up but he's still too weak to stand on his own. After leveling up, most of his wounds were cured but the synthetic poison that the Bald Mage used is still in effect. At the same time, Wazi is going through the inventory of both mages. He finds a brown colored potion and he starts heading toward the hawk with an evil look in his eyes. He forces the hawk to gulp up the potion. Firestorm Hawk had no other choice but to drink it because he has no strength to even fight against Wazi. After a while, Hawk starts slowly healing. Wazi informs him that the potion he fed him was an antidote for the synthetic poison, and it will take a while to cure him. Firestorm Hawk asks Wazi why he saved him, and Wazi replies that he saved the hawk because of his kids, and they will not be able to survive in the wild without him. Firestorm Hawk stands up and he tells Wazi that the path to Mushroom Kingdom is littered with powerful monsters, and he should not go there with Piggy, because the Mushroom King is quite famous for being ruthless to any tribe other than the mushrooms. The Firestorm Hawk gets close to Wazi and takes a close look and Wazi retreats in fear. Firestorm Hawk tells him he is quite weird because a normal mushroom monster is a brainless existence, but Wazi is intelligent. A low-ranked monster with high intelligence is a very rare existence, and Wazi will be a perfect tonic for his children. Wazi starts stepping back as he becomes scared, but Firestorm Hawk starts laughing and he tells Wazi that he was just messing with him. He informs Wazi that he is not same as those ruthless humans who just plunder everything for their own selfish desires. Wazi asks him that monsters and humans used to live together before, and why they cannot return to a time like that. Hawk tells Wazi that the humans need the shell of his eggs for something, and he doesn't care if they take the shell after his babies have been hatched, but the humans are greedy and they destroyed a lot of his nests before, and this is the first time his babies have been hatched safely. Wazi sighs as he thinks humans are same in every world, and they keep plundering others for their interests. Firestorm Hawk is now fully recovered and he gives off a powerful heat wave. Firestorm Hawk thanks Wazi as this is the first time his babies were able to survive. Firestorm Hawk tells him that he will take him to the Mushroom Kingdom tomorrow and he should rest up for now. Wazi starts sparkling with happiness after hearing it. Before going to sleep, Wazi starts experimenting with different potions. Wazi puts his butt in the potions and he starts decomposing the liquids with his butt. After decomposing, Wazi throws up brown liquid inside a potion bottle. This potion looks same as the one Wazi previously fed to the hawk, and Wazi tells him to take this potion and it will help him recover faster. Firestorm Hawk becomes disgusted and he gives out another big heat wave. Wazi obtained a lot of loot from the two deceased mages, including some potion recipes. The next morning, both of them are carried to the Mushroom Kingdom. Hawk informs them that they should prepare for descent as they are getting closer to the Mushroom Kingdom. After a while, they reach the Mushroom Kingdom, which has a very captivating view. Two liquidy spears start approaching them and the hawk tells Wazi and the piggy to hold on tight. Firestorm Hawk uses Fire Breath attack which takes care of the liquid spears. Wazi asks Hawk what was attacking them and the hawk replies that his kind is attacking them. After some time, they spot some different types of mushrooms on the walls of the Mushroom Kingdom. These are level 44 mushroom magicians, and they are a unique existence among the mushrooms. They are one of the most capable helpers of Mushroom King and they can help low-ranked mushrooms to evolve. The Mushroom Magician performs a magic on a low-ranked mushroom, and it evolves into a bomb shroom in an instant. The overall stats of a bomb shroom are low, but they possess a unique ability to self-explode. These shrooms can even kill enemies which have a lot more levels than them. The bomb shroom hops into a level 36 cannon shroom. Cannon shrooms are a unique evolution of the common mushrooms. Its nose is like a cannon, and it can shoot powerful blasts of snorts, and when its snort runs out, it can use other objects as ammunition. The cannon shrooms use a powerful blast attack to shoot the bomb shrooms at the Firestorm Hawk. The hawk dodges to the side, but the bomb shroom changes their direction using Spore Explosion.